Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us today for the next webinar in our What's New series. In today's webinar, we're going to cover some of the newest features in Microsoft 365 that you can implement in your business, as well as covering some brand new features that are coming up in the next few months. Don't feel like you need to make notes or take it all in straight away, as we'll be sending out a recording of the webinar, as well as a follow-up fact sheet later today. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the Q&A box at any time. I'll keep my best to keep an eye on them as we go through it, but there's also going to be dedicated time for questions at the end of the webinar. So, what's on the agenda for today? First up, create structured documents using Microsoft Forms and SharePoint. SharePoint and Teams are both introducing new workflows experiences. Changes are coming to Teams meeting URLs. Intelligent recap in Teams to include screenshots of shared content in AI-generated summaries. And new output formats are coming to Copilot researcher agents. And then lastly, of course, what's next? As always, it's good to see so many coming back and joining us again. And welcome, of course, to all the new faces as well. Let's start with an introduction to Bedroq. My name is Craig Mundy, and I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at Bedroq. You might even recognize my voice from other videos on our website or YouTube channel. Bedroq is an IT managed service provider, and we're now a Microsoft Solutions partner for security. And this means that most of the IT that we implement is based on the Microsoft stack, so things like Microsoft 365, Teams, Azure, etc. And it also means that we meet all of the technical competencies, quality of service standards, and customer criteria that Microsoft demand in the IT security world. We're also experts in secure, resilient networks and managed IT solutions where high performance is critical. We work with organizations that have some of the highest security requirements in the UK and manage mission critical IT as well as operational technology for those highly regulated organizations. Now, the most important thing that we want to achieve is to make sure that your IT strategy is supporting your business as a whole. And we do this with the help of our 8 strategic rocks. And you can see them on the slide here. Data, skills, backup, strategy, investment, security, quality of service, and collaboration. Now, the collaboration rock is the focus of this webinar series, as most of the Microsoft 365 apps that we talk about are collaboration tools. Many people that we've come across have invested heavily into their IT. They've bought all the apps and they've got the most expensive licenses, but they're maybe not using them to their full potential and therefore not seeing the best return on investment. So really, that's the aim of this webinar series, just to keep you up to date with everything that's coming out and everything that you can start to implement that you've probably already got access to, and hopefully start to make a big difference to your business strategy. Bedroq also offers cybersecurity support. I'm sure we've all heard or read in the news or social media about cyber attacks happening across the country, across the world, really. And recovering from something like this can be a lengthy and costly process. So it's increasingly important for any organization of any size to be prepared because, unfortunately, these sorts of attacks are becoming more common. And as I've said, Bedroq had a lot of experience working with organizations with high security requirements. We've got our own cyber security specialists who use these sorts of events as ways to improve our own systems and offerings. We're Cyber Essentials accredited, and we're part of the National Cyber Security Centre Industry 100, meaning we've got a lot of first-hand knowledge and guidance to share. So if you're looking to assess or better understand your cybersecurity needs and requirements, then please get in touch and we can discuss best practice, consult on what your organization is doing to prepare, and help you to understand the why behind these sorts of attacks, as well as offer training to bring you and your team up to speed. If you're interested, then please just drop myself an email or go through the contact page on our website and we'll set up a meeting with our cybersecurity experts. Okay. First up, let's look at some features that are coming to SharePoint. Microsoft is introducing a new way to create structured documents using Forms and SharePoint. They say that this capability will help you and your organization to generate standardized, compliant documents with a simple form-driven experience. from high volume document workflows. Now, I'm sure it doesn't necessarily need to be high volume, but it will take a bit of time to set it up. So you'll need to weigh up whether or not the time taken to set it up is worthwhile versus a more manual approach to the documentation. The person who creates and configures the structured document forms will require a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. However, it doesn't appear that the person completing the form will need a Copilot license. So how do we go about setting this up then? Start by editing content and applying advanced template customizations, including conditional sections in Word. Then it's up to you to review and refine your form with AI suggested fields, which also help before publishing. So just making sure that you go through and you've got all of the relevant fields needed to collect all of the data from your documentation. And then all that's left is for your colleagues to or necessary parties to fill out the form, which in turn generates the document. This is then stored in your chosen location within SharePoint, and a copy of the generated document is emailed to the user. This looks like a great way for users to create documents easily and quickly. But not only that, organizations will be able to enforce and maintain template governance as well. That is probably necessary, and on top of that, it'll reduce, well, hopefully, start to reduce admin workload for all of the parties involved as well. I reckon that this process could be useful for any number of documentation requirements, from NDAs or supplier contracts or sales proposals and project bids to employment contracts, quarterly business reports, and risk assessment summaries. This update, I really think, has the potential to make formal documentation processes far easier for both those requiring the document and those filling out the details as well. Of course, this will work best for routine documentation with predictable structures, but once you find the right structure and template, it should be relatively easy to transfer across your different business needs. Now, this update is due by the end of this month, however, in preview only, as general release no longer has a specific date. So I'll keep an eye on this one, and if it's of interest to any of you, then please let me know, and I can bring a further update in a future webinar when Microsoft release more information. Sticking with SharePoint, there is a new workflow experience due to roll out this month. I've talked about them a little bit in the past, but in case you don't know, workflows in Microsoft 365 are automated sequences of actions within Microsoft 365 that move information, tasks, or documents between people and apps according to a set of defined rules. Now, in practical terms, it is basically hoping to replace manual steps such as email documents for approval, or copying data between applications, or chasing responses. For example, this might look like an approval workflow. So an employee submits a purchase request, the manager receives the approval request in Teams, then finance is automatically notified, and then the SharePoint record is updated. Or perhaps it could be even simpler than that. It could simply be used to send you a notification when a file or folder is updated, or to automate a weekly reminder into a Teams channel. Overall, these aim to reduce manual admin, speed up routine processes, and in some cases enforce governance and consistency. They're not necessarily just automation for convenience sake, but supporting a controlled process with clear triggers and outputs will, while ensuring auditability as well, if that's something that's needed in the process. So now we know what they are, let's look at what's changing within SharePoint. Microsoft are aiming to simplify and unify automation across SharePoint, Teams, and Microsoft 365. List and document libraries will have a new workflows button on the command bar menu at the top. Selecting it presents the template library, your existing workflows, and the option to build workflows from scratch. This is a clear and user-friendly layout, making it, hopefully, a less daunting process for everyone. When configuring new workflows, it will be simple to configure and edit as you see fit. This might be As I said, a bit of a daunting process initially, but it's well worth going in and having a play around with these sorts of automations to find out if there are some new options that can help support your day-to-day work. Again, with the aim of easing the pressures of manual admin, even if it's just that little bit every single day. There are some further details to note about this upcoming update as well. So the existing automate and integrate menus will be combined into a single drop-down menu labeled integrate. And Power Automate is behind workflows, so it's powering it. And so you're going to have the same enterprise-grade reliability, security, and extensibility. And lastly, existing workflows and compliance processes will remain unaffected. So thankfully, you won't have to worry about going through and setting them all up again if you are using them. Now, this update is due late March. However, I do want to note that this was initially due back in October last year, so I'm not going to hold my breath on this one coming out on time. As I say though, even before the update comes out, go and have a look at workflows and see if an example catches your eye to start implementing it into your work. Now, as I also said in the agenda, this workflow experience update is coming to Teams as well. Again, it's with the aim of simplifying and unifying this automation process across their apps, which I just love to see. Now, hopefully this layout is starting to look a little familiar to you now, so I won't go into too much detail, but I just wanted to highlight some key points. It will very much have the same capabilities as it used to, and that I've discussed for that SharePoint version just now, but it now also offers faster and more intuitive interface for building automations in 3 steps or fewer. So this is what the homepage looks like when you click into workflows from within Teams, and you can find it from the apps option at the side or the 3-dot menu on that left-hand sidebar of your Teams window. And you'll notice at the top that there's also a templates tab. So when you click into that, you will then be displayed something like that looks like this, showing you loads of options on how you can approach getting started with your own automation. Either by describing what you're looking for into the search bar, selecting a filter to narrow down your results, say if you're looking to automate just getting updates or catching up on missed meetings or messages, or even by completely starting from scratch. Now, something that I hadn't mentioned is in the capabilities of the SharePoint update is this natural language to flow capability that allows you to describe what you want to automate, and then you'll get suggestions and recommendations of how to get started. In any case, this seems to be it is great, to see that Microsoft is starting to bring more consistency across their applications. And as it's one of those things that I keep harking on about and I keep hoping to happen and expecting. It generally improves user experience across the board. And if you can get comfortable with setting up automations using workflows, then as I've discussed before, it could make some of your more repetitive tasks and day-to-day work just that little bit easier to manage. So go on, give it a try, and let me know how you get on. Similar to the SharePoint version, this update is due anytime now. While we're looking at Teams, I've got a couple more updates that I'd like to cover. The first of which is something that you've maybe already spotted yourself while using Teams and joining meetings. Microsoft Teams meeting URLs are being shortened to improve shareability and security. Now, here are some of the main changes. So meeting invites now display the full join link instead of the join meeting now hyperlink, as you can see in the screenshot here. Top one is the old one, bottom one is the new version. If the meeting organizer is removed from the tenant, then links to meetings they've scheduled automatically expire. While on expiration limits will apply to newly created links. So there's a few different ones. There's meeting links expire in 60 days after the meeting ends. Meet now links, however, they also expire in 60 days, but it's after creation. And then old links are unaffected. Now, parameters such as tenant ID, organizer ID, conversion ID, and message ID will not be in the URL as previous. And Microsoft suggests that your organization go and check any processes and integrations that may use these parameters, as it won't have them available in the same way. Now, some of the intended benefits of this change, as suggested earlier, it should improve the link consistency and reliability across clients and email applications. It's easier to copy and share the link, and the URL is said to be more secure and less susceptible to malicious attacks. Now, it may not look as nice as it once did, but if you're emailing it to people directly, or if you're using a marketing platform to send out emails, then you can still just hyperlink that link into text or a button as well, just to tidy it up a little bit. It shouldn't really impact the way that you join or share meetings all that much, but hopefully it will have the desired effect of being more secure for you and your organization as a whole. As I said, you might have noticed it already, but if you haven't, go and have a look and see if it's changed for you, as this update should have rolled out for everyone by now. For scheduled meetings, it came out in January this year, while Meet Now in chats and channels should have been done by the end of last month. So go and have a look and see what you can find. And here's another useful feature coming to Teams. Intelligent meeting recaps in Teams will soon include content shared on the screen in the AI-based summary that's provided after the meeting. So the captured screenshot will be shown alongside the relevant meeting notes for a more complete visual recap of the meeting. You'll also be able to expand the points and click into the shared content to be able to fully and more clearly see the shared content as well. There are several advantages that come with this update. So you'll be able to get a more complete and contextual meeting summary, helping ensure that important details shown visually are, and perhaps the speaker only references them, saying, if you can look on the screen now, and points it with their mouse. Hopefully that's not fully lost in the recap. And it should also be a significant time saver for both attendees and absentees, as participants and those who missed the meeting can quickly review shared content alongside the AI generated notes, which saves time that would otherwise be spent rewatching the full recordings or hunting for shared materials as well. And some of these times in these meetings, perhaps it's just me, the people sharing the materials aren't sharing a shared version of that file or haven't shared that file afterwards or before the meeting as well. So in some cases, you may not even be able to find the slide deck as well. And by integrating visual evidence with clear notes and action items, teams will hopefully get clearer context for decisions and next steps, which will hopefully help with alignment and reduce any miscommunication after the meeting as well. I'm sure there are many more that you can think of as well, but these were just some of the standouts for me. And we all know that I love some efficiency and time-saving features. This update applies to Teams for Windows Desktop, Teams for Mac Desktop, Teams for the web, and Teams for iOS and Android. And it also requires a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Now, this one is due anytime now for desktop and the web version, but again, the mobile version has been delayed further, and unfortunately, there's been no specific date set as of yet. So I will continue to keep an eye on it, and if I get any more dates about the mobile version or when this is actually coming out, then I'll be sure to let you know in a future webinar as well. Now, I just want to finish up with a quick update that's also coming to Copilot. So Microsoft are adding a new output format, well, several output formats to the Researcher Agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, I covered some of the new capabilities of Researcher Agent in a previous webinar, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but please make sure to have a look on our YouTube channel or on our website for information on it and other topics that you might have missed. In short, Researcher Agents allow for deeper, multi-step research and content, therefore, to be created through Copilot. And with this update, after you've had your back and forth with the agent, trying to work out exactly how you want it, tweaking their answers, etc., then you will soon be able to have some new export format options available for the finalized information. So whether that be a report or some stats in a table or anything in between, you will be able to export the data in the following formats that you can see on the screen. So the new ones are PowerPoint, PDF, as an infographic, or even as a full audio overview. Additionally, there will be an updated export experience for the existing Word format. I'm not sure at this time what that looks like as such, but it's something that the Microsoft have promised, so it'll be interesting to see what comes from that. Now, this update is due between now and early April, so if you're a keen research agent user, or if you're tempted to give it a try, then this update will hopefully help you get to grips with and smooth out that process of generating a professional looking and finalized document in whichever format you prefer. And that's us for today. I just want to quickly let you know about the next webinar in this series that will be coming next month. So it'll be taking place on Thursday, the 9th of April, and you can register for that now on our website or through the link that my colleague will post in the chat just now. We look forward to seeing you all there, and if there are any topics or questions that you wish for me to cover in the next webinar, then please just get in touch and I'll be happy to have a look. That's the link in the chat now, so if you want to go ahead and make sure the event's in your diary, then click on it and register just now. And remember, as always, all of these webinars are recorded and accessible through our YouTube channel and our website, so make sure to have a look through them if you're interested in learning more. And please do share them with your colleagues as well. Now, I will quickly take you through our stakeholder workshop that Bedroq run, called the 8 Rocks Assessment. It goes back to those 8 rocks that I mentioned at the very beginning of the webinar. It's a stakeholder workshop designed to get consensus on your business priorities, and it can be conducted face-to-face or virtually, and it gets leaders and investors aligned behind the best way to assess your IT strategy. Now, it's important to note there's no cost implications with this other than a mutual investment of time. So if you're an IT leader at your organization and you need a bit of backup to prove to the CFO that you need to make an investment into your IT, or if you're looking at ways that you can better use your existing IT investments, well, we're happy to look at all of these things. So please just let us know if it's something that might interest you, and we'll be happy to set that up and introduce you to the team that'll walk you through the process. But if you do have any more questions, perhaps while you're looking through the fact sheet later today, then please feel free to reply to the email that I'll send out with the recording. As always, I'll be happy to help with any queries about the content in this webinar or anything else, and we'll look to cover your suggestions in the future as well. And just a quick reminder about cybersecurity, if it's on your mind and you want to find out a bit more about how we can support you, then please just get in touch. And again, thank you very much for joining us all today, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I wish you all the best. Goodbye.